And here we go with my review of Transformers Generation 1 Mindwipe. Mindwipe was originally a Headmaster in the original G1 toy lineup. This figure here is actually the one that I had when I was a kid. So this is the one that I got when the Headmasters first came out way back when. As you can see, his alt mode is that of a robotic bat. So he's a little weird in that sense that he's not a vehicle. And I think most of the Headmasters, at least the Decepticons in that first wave, most of them all turned into some kind of a creature. I think one was a wolf, one was a like alligator, this one was a bat, and the Autobots actually turned into like your typical vehicles and cars and planes and those type of things. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started here, and we'll zoom in a bit and take a look at some of the detail of this guy here. Pan up there, and as you can see, some of the stickers are a little worn out, but yeah, this is the original one from back in the 80s, so it's 20 something years old. And he's got the little kind of a small looking bat head there relative to the rest of his body. It's G1, so there's not going to be a whole lot of detail and sculpting in this. His mode's pretty straightforward, as you can see in there in the window area here. I do have the Headmaster for him, and the rub sign's there, and it still works, still kind of lights up there. And there's some of the other stickers. Actually, he's in pretty good shape considering his age. Let's kind of turn him around here, and these are obviously his legs here. The reason I got his tail forward like that is because just given the nature of this figure here, he doesn't want to kind of stand in his alt mode very well. If you actually put the tail back in the proper position, he wants to kind of tip forward, as you can see. So yeah, I just did that there to prop him up for, you know, showing him here on the camera. But yeah, it's basically, there's his bat mode. The wings do move, so you could kind of flap them here. One thing about this figure that I have here, or my figure here, is the little bar that held this little window in place fell out years ago. So this just pops off, but it actually kind of snaps into place, so it holds it in pretty secure. But we'll go ahead and flip that down, and I'll just go ahead and pop it off. You can see what I'm talking about there. But there's the Headmaster. So yeah, and that was the gimmick with all these Headmasters, was the little guy here would turn into the robot's head. And if I can, let's see if I can stand him up here, and we'll try, and his legs are a little weak, but let's see if I can zoom in here and get a little detail shot of him. So yeah, there you go. But that's him. These aren't obviously very posable. They just kind of fold over, really. You can kind of pop the arms out a bit if you want to get some limited mobility or posability with them, as it were. Like these here can kind of bend out, but I find that if you try to bend these, if you look kind of closely in here, they're not really rounded in these corners, so they want to, you know, get some friction there, and they tend to just pop off the little peg. So I really don't bother fiddling with them much. Basically, he's just a robot, and that's about all you're going to really get out of him. Let's go ahead and transform this guy. Transformation for this guy is pretty straightforward, pretty simple, typical, you know, G1 level of transformation. Basically, you just start here with his legs. Actually, you could flip his tail back. That's where it should start at anyways. So this actually needs to go forward when you want to turn him to the robot. Again, I just had it out forward to help prop him up, considering he wants to tip forward all the time when he's in his bat mode. So you move the tail back there like that. Knees here are obviously his legs, so you just rotate these down, bend the knees, rotate these down like so, then just pop up the feet. He is still pretty stiff. It's one good thing about the one here that I had. And then here, his wings, you just rotate these around, and these will be his arms here. and then you just flip these back. And let's pan out just a little bit here. There we go. And then the bat head here, just kind of open up this window compartment here where the Headmaster would sit, and that's actually where the head stores. It just flips down in there. And just close that back up to hide it. And that's basically his robot mode. Oh, yeah, you got to pop out his hands. There's some little posts here that, these are always kind of stiff and hard to get out, but this one's the tricky one because the post actually broke off on mine. On here, you can kind of see it right there. There's like a little tab that you can grab on to push it out, but thankfully this side's a little loose, so I can kind of get in there and pinch it. And let's see if I can get that to come out. I don't like transforming them for that reason, because this gets stuck in there a lot of times. And if you don't have the small hands or fingers, it's hard to get in there, but let's see if I can get them out. Let's just cheat. There we go. And I do have his gun. He just came with this one little blaster pistol or gun or whatever it is. But yeah, that's basically his robot mode. Now obviously he's not complete without the Headmaster. And then to transform this guy into the robot's head, basically you just bend him over at the hips there, and there's his robot head. And there's a flap here that's supposed to hide the robot face when he's in his robot mode, but it tends to just flop down anyway. So I mean, when he's standing up, it just kind of wants to flip down anyway. So yeah, it doesn't really do a whole lot there. But that forms his face, and let's see if we can kind of hold him up here and get some detail of him. Yeah, kind of like his head there. It's kind of cool looking. And then these just peg right in here in the little slot at the top, and you pop the head in. And that was basically the gimmick with the Headmasters. And the other gimmick was when you would do this, they would have their stat readouts here on their chest somewhere. You'd usually flip down a panel or something, and you can see here he's got his speed, strength, and intelligence on a scale of 10. So he's kind of average, a little slightly above average strength. And like I said, here's his gun. So yeah, that's pretty much Mindwipe in his robot mode. I do have his original file card from way back when, and I'll go ahead and just read this off here to you real quickly. It says, Decepticon Mindwipe, his function was hypnotist. His quote was, "Just one look from me and you've lost." A mystic spends more of his time trying to contact the electromagnetic essences of long-dead Decepticons than talking to live ones. Binary bonded to Vorath, former Nebulan Minister of Science, expelled from office as a result of an illegal experiment scandal. In bat mode has hypnotic stare, flies at 700 miles per hour. In robot mode uses Viper pistol, shoots streams of neurocircuitry paralyzing liquid. So that's his Headmaster's name here, is Vorath. That's the guy there. That's the Headmaster unit. And that's pretty much his little character bio. Not a whole lot to it, which was typical of the G1 figures at the time. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of articulation with this, obviously, since it's a G1 figure. You can move the arms here, and you can also move them there if you want some extra movement. Don't really go left and right, unless you count this when you move it in for transformation, but that's really not going to give you a whole lot. Legs obviously are just limited to what you can fold up to, you know, get his alt mode there. The head can't turn, obviously, and the wings you can rotate them back there if you want. Make them look a little more just robotic without the wings, but I like to keep them with the wings out. I think it looks kind of cool. And I like his color scheme. He's got the black and purple, so you know he's a Decepticon. So that's always a good thing. But yeah, that's pretty much Generation 1 Headmaster Mindwipe.